Hello, everyone. It is Saturday night on the East Coast, and you have tuned into Other Than Stitching. This is currently a live stream, but I understand if nobody is watching the live stream because that happens more often than not. I just record it this way because it's easier for me. Anyway, Other Than Stitching is the vlog weekly live stream where Stitchy Danny and Crafty Maya talk about stuff other than our stitching and our crafting.
We have nicknames
So,
now?
no, I was just trying to come up with an introduction and you just ruined it.
Can that be our introduction? You always come up with an introduction and I always ruin it?
Well, see, now it's going to be hard to do that next week. We'll just go
Just
with the flow. How about
just
that?
come up with an introduction. I'll figure it out.
We'll just go with the flow. Basically, in case you hadn't figured it out, Saturday stitching is already loosey goosey, but we try to have some sort of structure. Not so with Other Than Stitching. We're just talking for a while because we don't talk to each other except on Saturday night. So this is just us having a chat before I go back to my homework and Maya goes back to smoking her bong or whatever hippie people do up in Asheville.
What? What are you talking about? That was so extra.
For those who don't know, oh, I didn't mean to snort, sorry. For those who don't know, Maya is my daughter. That's why I can talk to her that way. Okay, so I made notes for what I wanted to talk about, even though this is supposed to be loosey goosey. I still made notes.
Guess who
But
also made notes this week? Hacha.
good for you.
They're not
Good.
very good. Not much happens to me.
Well, not much happens to me either. I didn't have any notes when I sat down here about an hour ago. I had to make up some. I left my notebook out here so that I could make notes all week as I was thinking of stuff. But
Hmm.
I sat down here today thinking I had something on that piece of paper and it was blank. So I
See,
had to come up with some stuff.
I put mine in my planner because I carry it with me everywhere.
Well, I mean, this is where I sit because this is, for those who don't know, I know it looks like I'm in a
In
walk-in
the closet.
closet here, but actually, this is my office. I work from home, and this is my office. So but I'm sharing it with my husband's wardrobe. So the back wall and what you can't see, the side wall over this way, all belong to my husband. And the front that you can't see here, which has the lovely window, which is giving us the light, and the side wall that you can't see here are mine. So this is where all my office stuff is that you can't see. Um, I wish that I could arrange it so that at least y'all could see the back wall and it would look pretty, but then
Yeah.
I wouldn't get the nice light over here. So, do you want to start with your list or shall I start with my list, daughter mine?
I'm going to start with something that's not on my list. I have a bit of a story time going on.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
Have at it.
and I haven't even mentioned this to you. So,
Ooh, a
I,
surprise.
yes. So, I recently decided to update my Facebook page and do some Facebook things. Yay, me getting on it. So,
Well, I kind of did know about that because I'm starting to see a bunch of stuff showing up in my feed because you know that you have me listed as part as a
yes.
person for that page, so I keep getting notifications. So
Okay,
go
so you
ahead.
probably heard a little bit about this. I don't know how much of it you like read or anything.
No, I didn't read anything. I just keep seeing the notifications, and I'm not clicking on anything because I didn't want to mess it up for you.
Oh, you're good. So, I've been updating the Facebook page, updated my cover photos and all kinds of stuff. And I decided
This is
I
the
made a
Facebook for those listening. This is the Facebook page for her business, Maya Mindy, not her
oh
personal
yeah.
page.
Oh, make sure you put that in the description. People should probably find that. But ooh, excuse me. So I updated my Facebook page, and one of the posts that I did recently was of a baby belly that I did. For anyone that doesn't know, I do henna, and I hennaed a mama's baby belly, a mama belly, a baby bump. I don't know baby bump is what I'm going to go from now on.
Yeah, I
So
think baby bump is the current thing, the all Quran cool thing to say.
baby bump. I hennaed a baby bump, but this was like months ago, and I finally got around to posting the picture, and I was like, you know what? People are pregnant right now. Let me boost this post. So I
Well,
paid.
people are pregnant 365 days a year. You act like
Yes,
pregnancy is seasonal.
but people are pregnant and it's summer
Okay,
ish.
okay.
So I decided to, and Facebook keeps giving me this notification of, oh, hey, you've got $5 credit for boosting a Facebook post if you boost a Facebook post. And I'm like, okay, let me use the $5. So I used the $5, added another $5 in my own to have a $10 whatever. That none of that's
Ooh,
important.
you paid Facebook money.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking intervention in the middle of this, introduction in the middle of this, Facebook does not make it easy to not pay them money because I added whenever you boost a post, it creates like you create your little budget of this is how much I want to spend boosting this
Mhm.
post and this is how many days I want it to go and blah blah blah. And once you set it, Facebook will do everything in their power to make you add money to your budget, but they do not make it very clear how to take it away. No, no, no. So if you accidentally add money to your budget, you were frantically clicking around before they take that out of your bank. It's real frustrating.
I can imagine.
Anyway, so I boosted a post and I set it to advertise to Asheville, North Carolina, Burnsville, North Carolina, Weaverville, North Carolina, all the cities around me.
Hmm.
And because I'm like, I don't want to travel out that far, but I want it to like some of these main cities. I don't mind traveling like 20 minutes to do a baby belly.
Hmm.
So I so I get a message from this lady and she's like, "Hey, I saw your post and I really want you to do my baby belly. I'm doing 10 days." And so I'm like, 10 days? You were about to have this baby right now. What are you doing? But I didn't say it in the message. In the message, I was like, oh, of course I'd like to do your baby belly. And so the earliest that I could meet her, she messaged me on Tuesday. The earliest that I could meet her was Friday. So you can probably already see where the story is going.
Uh-huh.
So what I was going to end up having to do on Wednesday or Thursday, I ended up sketching out the design, or on Wednesday I ended up sketching out the design. She messaged me and said that she wanted something different. So on Thursday I made a different design. But we had it all planned out. And on Thursday she messaged me and was like, "Hey, do you think for an extra $20 I could get my husband because she knows my prices because I have them on my Facebook and stuff. But she said, do you think for an extra $20 I could get a design on my baby daddy's hand to match my belly?" And I'm like, of course you can. So I was going to be getting, because I do for baby bellies, or for baby bumps, I do $30 flat for the mama, as long as it's not like an obscene amount of ink. If it's a large design and he's like, you're already expecting you're about to have to pay for diapers, $30 is all I'm going to charge you. So I was going to be getting $50 on Friday. I was so excited. And then what was going to happen was I was going to have to go to work Friday morning. After working late Friday night or late Thursday night. So Thursday night, I got scheduled from 4 to midnight. And then
Oh, really?
Friday morning, I was scheduled 7 a.m. to 3. So he already
Uh-huh.
scheduled me in to only getting like 6 hours of sleep, but that's a whole nother story. So I went to work Thursday night. I got back to work Friday morning, and what I was gonna have to do was go to work Friday morning, get off at 3 o'clock, go home and pick up my henna, and then drive 20 minutes out to Asheville to go
Uh-huh.
to go do this baby bump. So I work Thursday night, get up and go to work Friday morning. I'm exhausted, and then at the very end of my shift on Friday morning, the very end of my shift at like 2:45, I get a message on my Facebook page saying, "I love hate this, and I'm really sorry, but I had my baby yesterday." And I'm like, no.
Oh.
She couldn't hold it in. She had the baby. Everything was fine with the baby though, like a healthy baby boy. Everything was great. And she said she's gonna like message me sometime later to get some henna from me anyway because she really likes my artwork and everything. But I was just like, no.
Well, the plus side is she knows that you're an accommodating person.
Yes.
So hopefully if she knows other people who are pregnant, because pregnant women travel in packs.
Hmm.
So if she knows other, well, it's true. I mean, all the people that I know already had their babies.
Mm-hmm.
So I like when I get in the mood to make a baby blanket or a baby sweater, I don't have anybody to make it for because all the people in my peer group have college students like I do because we all had babies, not at exactly the same time, but roughly the same time.
Yeah.
Nobody has little babies anymore because, like, like Miss Libby, she had her kids after me, of course, but her daughter's 16, her
What?
youngest. Yeah,
No.
yes, she's driving a car.
Why? What? No.
Yes, yes, you need to be on Facebook more often.
Yeah,
But
I really should.
enough of people's personal business. Anything else you want to talk to off of your list, or you want me to start off my list?
Um, you go ahead and well, actually, this is, I guess, another weird internet interaction.
Okay, good.
So, and we did talk about this before.
Yeah.
So,
Is it the appropriation one?
yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
So for anyone looking at me, okay, look at my face. I got accused of cultural appropriation of African American people. You looking? You see? You see this? It was such an odd interaction. So I run the Instagram page for my local farmers market, and and I posted a meme. It was the really old exhibit meme. The I heard you like X, so I put X in your X so you can X. That meme.
Uh-huh.
If you don't know it, look it up. It's the exhibit meme. It's super old. So I decided to post it because I'm like, everybody that goes to our farmers market's old anyway. They probably don't even know what memes are. So I post this exhibit meme and I get a message. I didn't even see the message right away. One of the other members of the farmers market who's on the Instagram page messaged me and is like, "You have a message on the Instagram page. You should probably check that." So I went and looked at this message, and this lady is like, "Excuse me, I feel like using an African. I feel like your latest Instagram post might be cultural appropriation. Using an African American man to represent your market is does not seem correct because the community in this area is not very diverse." And I'm like, okay. So I messaged her back. I feel like I handled it really well. I messaged
Hmm.
her back and I was like, so I don't know if you know me, which I don't think she does because I went and did some Instagram creeping and looked her up and like so I could see her face. And I have never seen her at our market before. The other person who looked at the Instagram also looked her up and had never seen her at the market before. So if she had been to the market even once in the last 2 years, she would have known that I was there and probably would have known that I was the vice president.
Hmm.
But anyway, so I was like, I don't know if you know me, but I am Maya. I run Maya Mendy, and I am the one controlling the Instagram post. I am an African American woman, so I didn't think that it was going to be a problem. Um, if like, and I like basically went through and explained what a meme was, just in case, because I didn't know how old she was. I didn't know how like internet savvy she is. So I explained what a
Uh-huh.
meme was, and I was like, it's not the person that is used to represent; it is the joke that I'm using, not it is the joke that I'm using here in the situation. So and I was like, I'll try to be more considerate in the future about these things. And she's like, oh, thank goodness. Like, I was just so happy it wasn't a white person. And I'm like, kind of raising my eyebrows because she's white. And so I'm like,
Oh, she's
okay,
white.
yes. Oh, I
Oh
didn't
my
tell you
goodness.
that.
What? No, you didn't tell me she was white.
Yeah, she's white. And so she's like, she's being a social justice warrior, which like I appreciate what she's trying to do. Which I told her that in the next message I sent. I appreciate what she is trying to do, but maybe do a bit more research on someone before, like a bit more research before you call these things out. Because if she had been to the market, she would have known that I was there. And maybe
Hmm.
she could have like messaged and said, "Hey, did you see what your market posted? Do you like, is this okay with you?" Because like, or
Hmm.
anything like that. But
Hmm.
she had not been to our market. She did not do any kind of research. She did not know that I was there, that I'm the vice president, that I'm the one controlling the Instagram. Because I say it like every day. Every time I'm at
Hmm.
the market, I'm like, oh, I got to get pictures for the Instagram. Don't mind me. Like every time. But she had not been there. And so she was just like doing her duty, but without also doing her
And
research.
that is what's now that I'm thinking, because you've already told me about this, and I went and I read
Mm-hmm.
the post and everything, but on thinking on it even more, it's like if you haven't been to the market, because this is a small town.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody watching the video, this is a small town. I reference Asheville, but she actually lives in a small town outside of Asheville called Mars Hill. It is a small town, but
Very
it's
small.
small enough that you recognize the regulars who come to the market. So the fact that she didn't know that you were black means that she hadn't been to the market, and added on to the fact that the exhibitors at the market did not recognize her face. So none of y'all recognize each other. So how
No,
is she commenting on a market she hadn't been to?
exactly.
How is she commenting on whether the market is diverse or not when she hasn't been there often enough to see how many people of color exhibit at that market?
Exactly, because last year, if she had, because this is only our fourth week of this market this year. If she had come, so like if she hasn't been here this year yet. If she had come to the market last season, she would have seen that out of I think we had maybe seven consistent vendors last year. I was one of them, being African American, and another one was a Hispanic family. Like, I understand that it's not super diverse, but there is diversity in there because that is a small number of people, and that is like, and we still were able to get
Well,
an
so
African
I mean,
American person in.
exactly, seven regular vendors, and two of them are people of color. So
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure what her like I said, I understand what she was trying to do and I appreciate the sentiment, which is why I was so polite in responding to her and trying to help her understand. I appreciate the sentiment very much, but before you go jumping on someone, before you go trying to all jolly in and help out, know what you're talking about first.
yeah, yeah. Okay, now that we're done talking about the heavy-ish,
Heavy hitters.
do we want to talk about something light? You got anything from your list, or do we go from my list?
Let's see. Light. Uh, um, the only thing that I have that's super light is that
Well,
C2 and I,
what your whole list is heavy?
not heavy, but like it's either heavy or neutral.
Okay, let me jump in with a couple things, and then we'll come back to your list. How
Go
about
ahead.
that? Although, matter of fact, you talk for a second because I have. Okay, people, here's some TMI. I have like a bubble that is right here in my throat, and I'm trying not to burp into the microphone.
You.
So if I can force this thing to come out so I won't accidentally burp into the microphone, that would be good. So why don't you talk for a second while I try to not be gross?
Okay. The only other thing, let's see, that's not super heavy is that the Studio Ghibli Fest is going on right now, and I'm super excited because I love the Studio Ghibli movies like Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Kiki's Delivery Service, all those anime movies that I'm sure she has never seen because she hates anime. But it's the
Who is she?
anniversary of
Wait a
some of
minute.
those.
What she who hates anime?
She, you don't
Oh,
like
oh,
anime?
me,
Yeah.
me. Okay,
The she's that try not to burp into the microphone.
okay. I took care of that situation. I massaged it out, so we're all good now.
You're like a
So
baby.
yes, I'm like a baby. Okay, so go ahead, Studio Ghibli.
So I'm super excited because whereas most of these movies I had to see like looking them up on the internet or like catching them on Cartoon Network or something like forever ago, they are going to be showing them in theaters and they're showing them like each one is going to have their month. So this month they're showing Howl's Moving Castle, next month they're showing something else, and then the month after that is showing Spirited Away, like so on and so forth. But it's only going on for a week. They're showing like Howl's Moving Castle. They're showing it on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. And so C2, my sister and I, who you saw in one of the other streams, C2 and I are going on Wednesday to go see Howl's Moving Castle, which I'm so excited because it's my favorite. And I never got to see it in theaters because it's like the 30th anniversary of that movie right now. So it's like it's way old, but I'm so excited to see this movie in theaters. And Wednesday is the dubbed version, so I get to see it in English and not like I don't have a problem with subtitles, but I feel weird watching movies with subtitles in theaters. I don't know why I'm so iffy about that because I watch things with subtitles all the time at home, but like I don't know.
I don't think I've ever watched anything with subtitles in the theater.
I haven't seen like an entire movie that was subtitled, but I've seen movies that have a lot of characters that speak a different language, and so a good portion of it was subtitled. I don't remember what movie it was, but I remember the experience of it,
The
and it's
closest
like,
the
huh?
closest I came to that was seeing it was a French film. Can't remember the French name of it. They made
Amelie.
no, they made an American remake of it.
Mm,
Um, and it was and now I can't even remember the American remake. Oh my gosh. The American remake had Robin Williams in it. The American version was not as good as the French version. And I remember when I saw it at the time, I felt so I was like maybe 18 or 19 and I was in college and I felt so fancy being in
watching a
college
French film.
and watching a French film with subtitles because it may have been the first thing I've seen with subtitles now I think
Mm,
about it because that was before streaming services and
yeah.
DVDs and all that stuff. So you didn't get a lot of subtitled movies on like regular TV.
Hmm.
This is back when TV had 3 channels. Four if you had PBS. So you didn't see stuff with subtitles. So I think that may have been the first film that I saw with subtitles, and it was French. And maybe the Le Cage aux Folles.
Ah,
Le Cage aux
the
Folles.
Cage
And,
of Fools.
and I thought, oh, I felt like I was fancy because it was French and it was subtitles, and I was in college, and it was like it was you've probably never seen this before where somebody actually unrolls a screen at the front of the classroom and has the projector in the back of the room so everybody has to sit over to the sides to make sure there's a clear view for the film to go up on the projector.
How young do you think I am? I
So
haven't seen that in the theater, but I've seen that in the classroom.
well, I'm surprised. Well, by the time you were in classrooms, they had DVDs, so I thought maybe they were just like putting the TV in the front of the classroom and making y'all watch it off the TV or something.
Now we have projector stuff,
But yeah,
depending
so
on the class.
that's the closest I've come to seeing a movie in a theater with subtitles is a movie projected on a screen with
See, in my
subtitles.
opinion, in the at home, it's one thing because you're just like sitting at home, you just want to watch the movie. In the theater, I feel like there's so much going on, especially since it's a new movie and you're like getting the whole experience of the loud noises and the left and right sounds and the just the atmosphere that
Uh-huh.
trying to read subtitles the entire time. Plus that screen is so big. The subtitles are down here and everything else is going on 3 feet above it on the screen,
Yeah,
like forever away. So
yeah,
I feel like I miss stuff.
I get you. I get you. Because at home, even though we have, your brother bought a 60-inch TV for downstairs, right?
Yes.
So it's bigger than the TV that was here the last time you were here.
Hmm.
And so even though that's a big TV, I can still watch something. I can't crochet, but I can knit like this. I can kind of knit and still read the subtitles and still see the people on the screen. I can
Yeah.
fit it all in at the same time. Whereas I think in a movie theater, I'd lose something. I definitely wouldn't be able to knit
Hmm.
and read subtitles at the same time. But okay, so we're already 20 minutes in. So let's hit the highlights on my list. I'm going to start, even though it's not the top of my list, I'm going to start with books because I made the title of this episode is it was a bookish week.
All right.
It was a bookish week for me. I can't say it was a bookish week for you because I don't
Not
know if you read. Yeah, that's what I thought. Being in Asheville has rotted your brain.
no. I'm just too busy doing stuff. I can't. I need to. If Audible, we've had this conversation. If Audible didn't cost so dang much and charge so dang much for all them dang books, then I would be listening to books while I'm working on craft stuff. But I can't, like, I'm so busy working on other things. I don't have time to just sit and read a book because I'm so, like, I'm working a full-time job and also trying to build up a business. I don't have time to just sit and read a book.
I just made myself a note to send you a list of some free podcasts that are kind of like audiobooks.
Oh, please do.
I found I found a search engine called Listen Notes. I wasn't going to talk about this week, but I'll do it real quick. It's called Listen Notes
Hmm.
and listennotes.com. And it's if you're looking for specific podcasts. And you can search not just by the name of the podcast, you can search like if you're wondering if an actor you like has been on a podcast, you can put the actor's name in, and then it'll list different podcast episodes that that actor has been on of
Oh,
different
snap.
podcasts. Or if you want to know if anybody has talked about the movie Us that just came out, then you'll list the different podcasts that have done a review of
You
Us.
are blowing my mind right now.
I've been using that because I've been trying to send your aunt Terry some different podcasts because she's
Hmm.
the kind of person where she enjoys podcasts. She's not going to go searching for podcasts.
Yeah, I've got friends like
Just
that.
like she enjoys audiobooks, but she doesn't really branch out much beyond the few things that her library offers her.
Hmm.
But she's willing to take suggestions. But if you don't give her suggestions, she will kind of stay in the same thing, just like with the music she listens to. If I did not give her music suggestions, she would stay listening to the same music that she listened to in high school.
That is me.
So,
I am so bad about listening to other music. I will play the same like four playlists on repeat
no,
forever.
no. I have
I
an
only
infat.
just
I get an
discovered, huh?
I get an infatuation with music, but then, and so I'll play something, um, like, um, Demi Lovato's "Stone Cold."
Haven't heard it.
I played that song so much at high volume that your siblings were starting to wonder if I was having issues, because it's kind of a sad song,
Yeah,
and I played it. I mean, just on repeat. I
I
played
had
it
that. I
over
would
and over,
play.
and then I stop, and then I don't listen to it for a while.
So they let me play my music at work a lot of times just because, like, it's different from the stuff that they play on the radio because they have certain radio stations. I work at a fast food restaurant. They have certain radio stations that they have for the store, and play the same like few things over and over. Like depending on like there's a country station, there's a pop station, whatever, and they play the same few things over and over. So a lot of times they'll let me listen to my music on my Bluetooth speaker because I always make sure it's clean songs and it's like it's different from the stuff that's playing on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a while there where I was just like playing one of my old playlists, and this girl Kata was like, "Maya, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right. What's going on?" And she's like, "Cause you played like a sad Green Day song, and then you played a sad Panic at the Disco song, and then you play." And I'm like, "I just really like these songs." She was like, "I just want to make sure you're all right." But you know what song I speaking of me not discovering music, you know what song I just discovered like 2 months ago that I should have already known about?
What
Shape of You.
is that? The Ed Sheeran song?
Yes, the
Oh
one
my
that's been out
God!
for
What
like
what planet are you
forever.
on?
Not the Ed Sheeran one apparently, but I
Apparently.
really like that song. And so I've been listening to it nonstop for like 2 months.
Okay, so I guess we're talking about music instead of books.
Oh
Okay,
no, we can go
my
back. That was just
no, no,
helpful.
we're already on music, so let's finish talking about music. The two things that I had listed were Lizzo had a couple new songs come out that I really liked. Do you know Lizzo?
No, who's that?
I'll share her with you on Spotify, but she's got a song called Juice that has seemed to have really made the rounds. But she's been around for a while. She had and some of her songs have been used like in commercials and stuff, and she
Okay.
slowly started getting popular and popular, but she had like 3 albums out before her stuff started showing up on. And to be fair, her earlier albums were much more, were much more like rap. And
Mm-hmm.
her new albums still are kind of like rap, but there's more singing in it, and is more mainstream than before. So and so now her stuff seems to have been even seem to be getting a little bit more mainstream as she goes. And so this current album that she has coming out, I think the album's coming out at the end of this month, but she's already released a couple singles. One of them is called Juice, which
Okay.
seems to have played everywhere. She was on the Ellen Show. She was
Ooh.
on um, Jimmy Fallon. She just seems to be everywhere right
Mm-hmm.
now with that song. And then there was another song called Cause I Love You, which I really like. And she's got a new collaboration that she just did with Missy Elliott, which is
Ooh.
definitely NSFW. And the song is called Tempo, but it's really good. But so I'll send those songs to you on Spotify.
Okay.
But yeah, Lizzo is who I want to be when I grow up.
I'll definitely go check her out then. I'm
And
trying to bring up my
and
Spotify
one
so I can find people.
and you trying to do what?
I'm trying to bring up my Spotify because there was one song that I wanted to tell you about.
Oh,
But you
and
continue talking.
the other thing that is on my mind. Well, Tracy is back to listen to us ramble. Hey, Tracy.
Oh, hey, hey, Tracy. Sorry we took so long getting back.
So the other thing that was on my mind was Reba McEntire has a new album out called Stronger Than the Truth. You know I like country
Mm,
music.
yeah,
And this album, lately country music has started to sound more and more like pop music,
yeah.
but this album is straight up country.
Hmm.
It's straight up country. And I played it all the way through 3 times in a row
Oh man,
and was not tempted to like skip a song or whatever. I
well,
don't
it's
know if
good.
you know, but like a few months ago, this same friend, her name is Stacy, this same Facebook friend. We only know each other on Facebook, not in real life, only on Facebook because of music. We watch like things like The Voice and
Hmm.
stuff, and then talk back and forth, live tweet or whatever you want to call it. Because we met on Twitter first, and now we're both on Facebook.
Okay.
But we talk about music shows and stuff like that whenever they come on. And she sent me a message, was like, "Hey, have you checked out the new Reba McEntire album? I want to know what you think." But before she sent me that, she had sent me a thing about this Rolling Stone list of the top pop albums of 2018. And she had this idea that she was going to listen to each album and review it. And
Ooh.
so I said, "Well, I'll go ahead and do that with you." Well, it turned out I was the only one who did it, and because there was like 3 or 4 people who were going to jump in and do it, I was the only one who did it. And I think I did. There was like 20 albums, and I think I did all of them except for 3. But
Yeah.
that was the hardest thing to do because some of that music
Really?
so it was just so I do not like this, and it was hard to
Was it
explain
like
why you didn't like.
specifically the artist that you didn't like? Like you knew you like went in knowing that you probably weren't gonna like it because you didn't like that artist?
No, I because I like a lot of different stuff, so I try to be open minded,
Hmm.
but I just I'd start listening to it and go, what is it? Because they said it was pop albums, and I know I like pop music.
Hmm.
So it's like, what is this? What are you what?
I feel like pop is starting to become a broader and broader genre of music.
See, I feel like pop is starting to become hip hop light. It feels like all pop these days has some element of hip hop in it.
Hmm.
Um, and or like when you try to listen to the Billboard Top 100, so many of the songs are rap songs, and
Yeah.
not even like smooth rap songs that you can listen to like LL Cool J, but rap songs that are like jarring.
Yeah,
And
rap
I
is like
like,
really
and
popular right now.
the thing is, I like rap. It's not that I don't like rap, but some of these rappers who are supposedly popular don't have what people call flow.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't feel like they have flow. where you can really just kind of bop to
Roll
it,
with it, go to the rhythm, and
do
yeah.
this or whatever. There's no kind of rhythm to it whatsoever. So
Mm-hmm.
I had trouble getting through all of those songs. A lot of those songs I would listen to 30 seconds and go, okay, my skin is crawling, skip, and listen. So I listened to like some of those albums, I only listened to like 30-second chunks of every song because I couldn't get through
Yeah.
them. But I mentioned all that to say that the Reba McEntire album, even though every song on there is not my favorite,
You were
that
able to listen to the thing?
the whole album is listenable. I can put the album on and listen to the whole thing straight through. And some of the songs are just kind of background for me. And then some of the songs are like, oh, I hate you. I really like this one. And it's more foreground for me. But none of them are like, oh my God, I need to. Now, see, that's what I was trying not to do, Maya.
Sorry. My microphone is on my headphones. I would not be able to listen to you and still burp. I'm sorry. I turned
You're a little
away. I tried.
Tracy, I apologize on behalf of my daughter, who, despite the fact that I tried not to raise her in a barn, she still acts like she was raised in one.
I tried. I looked away. I tried. I covered my face and everything.
Whatever. So anyway, the Reba McEntire, "Stronger Than the Truth." If you like
Hmm.
country music, I like that one a lot. I think my favorite songs on there are um, Tammy Wynette, "Kind of Pain," and I think it's called "Storm in a Shot Glass."
Oh, it sounds so
Something
poetic.
like that. All the songs have like a story to them, the way country
Oh, I love
used
that.
to. Yeah, all the songs have story to them, the songs they used to. So it's yeah. Tracy's laughing at you probably because you're a little piglet. Um, so that's my music section. You have any other thoughts on music you've been listening to lately?
Yeah, there's one song that I discovered recently that I actually, and I almost never do this, but I was watching YouTube and an ad came up for the YouTube and it was a song. It was like a, you know how sometimes the
What
ads are
they
music videos?
play? Yeah, the ad is them playing the whole song.
Yeah, and so I was gonna skip it and I was like, you know what? How about now? Let's hear what you have to say. It was so good. So it's called, have you heard Kid by Bailey?
No, but I
It's
know right
a,
now.
yeah, definitely write it down. Her name is spelled, it's capital, all capitals, Bayli. And her album is Bailey Summer Mixtape, apparently. I've only listened to the one song. I haven't gone to listen to any of the other ones yet. But it was really catchy. And like the music video kind of caught me too, because it was her and some like friends walking. And the whole song is about her singing about how she, like, even though she's living in this grown up world, she just feels like she's a kid and doesn't know what the heck she's doing. And I'm like, I feel you. Mood. That is me. But it's so, you should definitely check it out. It's super catchy. And
Mm.
then let's see. Other than that, as far as music, I've been just listening to the same things over and over. I've been listening to the Disney hits playlist, and I keep
Oh, you are a
okay.
child.
One, it's clean. Two, we get a lot of kids coming through that drive-through asking for their Happy
Okay,
Meals.
okay, okay.
But on there is the Mary Poppins soundtrack, which is really good. The Mary Poppins 2, the Mary Poppins
The
Returns,
new one.
which I went and saw in theaters a while back, which we can get back to movies and stuff in a minute. Or books, I guess, is where we were. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I went and saw it with a friend and it was really good. And the music too was really, really good. She did a really good job and she did a really good job portraying Mary Poppins. I feel like they did some sort of character changes that were a bit different, that weren't her but was the writing.
Uh-huh.
But I really enjoyed it. That's about it. I've been listening to Disney and throwbacks.
Oh, let me throw one more song out there before we move on to books. Lake Street Dive. Did I mention Lake Street Dive last
No,
week?
what is this? And let me write it
Lake
down.
Street Dive. I love me some Lake Street Dive.
Who is
I
that? What
really
is
don't.
that?
It's a band. I don't really need to mention a particular song because anything, whether it's one of their originals or covers, they're all good. But the song that seems to be stuck in my head lately is
Mm-hmm.
Good Kisser.
Okay.
If you tell them anything, tell them I'm a good kisser. Yeah, I'm a bad singer, but that's what it opens up with. If you tell them anything, tell them I'm a good kisser. If you're gonna
All
talk junk
right.
about me, tell them about the good times. It's a
Well,
good
I've
song.
got it written down. I will look that up as soon as we're done.
It's a very catchy song. I like it a lot.
Oh,
Okay, so
did you
yes,
look up? I told you to look up that song from Crazy Ex Girlfriend. Did you look it
yes, I
up?
did. Yes,
What
I
did you
did.
think?
I like that song. I like it.
Yeah,
Okay. I
I
would not be
figured
able to
you would.
watch. I would not be able to watch the show because I could tell from little bits of the video that it's more cringy than I can
Yeah,
deal with. The show itself, the comedy is more cringy than I can deal with. But the song was cute. The song was
yeah.
cute.
There were a couple times where I've had to just like stop watching, and I'm like, I've got to recompose myself before I watch this embarrassment situation that is about to happen.
Exactly. It's very painful for me to
Yes,
watch other people on television be in an embarrassing situation. And that goes
yes,
back to me being a kid watching I Love Lucy. I couldn't. That famous scene where they're trying to pack the chocolates and the conveyor belt's going too fast. All I can think of is she's gonna get in trouble with her boss, and she's gonna be so embarrassed, and that was painful for me to watch. And other people find that funny, and I am just like in pain
you
and
and I
embarrassed
are
for
in
her.
that. I do not do embarrassment humor. That's why I don't watch Will Ferrell. That's why like there's so many actors that I just don't watch because I don't do embarrassment humor. I cannot handle that.
Yeah.
I want
So
to be
books.
there if you get your life together.
So books. I'm gonna start
Yes.
out with one that I think you might like. I don't know if there's an audiobook version, but I'll be glad to look that up after we get off later. I'll make a note. It's called Radiance,
Radiance.
and the author is Grace Draven,
Mm-hmm.
and it's um, I'm sorry. Maybe I should not have had the Sierra Mist because I feel like I have more bubbles in my throat.
I feel the same. I'm drinking my not soda right now.
Mm,
Sparkling ice, not soda. It's got
mhm.
0 calories, so I can say we'll try to stay under my calorie budget. We can talk about that in a minute. My dieting and calorie and your yeah, because we were going to talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm writing
So,
down.
so Radiance by Grace Draven. It's kind of a romance, but I think it's the kind of romance that is not going to turn off people who don't like romance a lot. Because
Mm-hmm.
anybody who doesn't know me, Tracy, I am. I'm waving over here as if Tracy's in the room with me, but this is where my chat screen is. So I'm like waving at my chat screen. Um, but I I read mostly romance. When I was younger, when I was Maya's age or a little bit younger, I did read, sci-fi and mysteries like Agatha Christie and Sue Grafton. I read almost all of Sue Grafton's at that time, that kind of thing. And I read big historical sagas like Howard Fast, The Immigrants, but big family saga type things. But the past 5, 10 years, all I've read mostly is romance. And I know that a lot of people don't like romance, and I struggle myself with because I know how people feel about romance novels, and so I struggle with being a little embarrassed myself about reading romance novels, partly because when I was a teenager, I used to turn my nose up at romance novels because romance back then was Harlequin, and Harlequins back then were bad. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, they were bad. They were cheesy. They were little 50 cent paperbacks that were just like cheesy. Nothing really nothing of consequence ever happened. They were not very well written. I'm sure there was some well written Harlequins out there even in the 70s and 80s, but I never saw them. Let's put it that way. So that was my impression of Harlequins. Frankly, was for people who didn't know how to read real books or good books. And I know that's snobby, but you know the snobbiness of youth. When you're a teenager, you think you know everything. And so now I read romances. Romance has come a long way from those really bad, poorly written Harlequins. But B, I mean, if you enjoy romance, you enjoy romance. If you enjoy, but I'm getting off topic. basically, I hesitate to recommend books to people because I know a lot of people they see even a hint of a romance in a book and it's like, ugh, this is just a romance, ugh, and they don't want to read it, you know. So I has, but I would say that Radiance is as not as much romance as it is. There are romantic elements, but it really is more about people learning to get along with each other, even though they're from different cultures. It's kind of a fantasy novel
Ooh.
where it feels like it doesn't say that it's not Earth, but it's an Earth like planet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they have things like potatoes and corn, but then they
Mm-hmm.
also have other things that are like weird that don't exist. So, I guess it doesn't really say specifically that it's Earth or not Earth, but all the land that they talk about is not. It's not like they're in California. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
you know, but it's this one race that is human, which I forget, but they don't just call themselves human. Because there's different kinds of humans. Just like there's American people and French people, there are these different kinds of humans, one that come from this region, and then there's humans from over in this region. But then in between the two regions, there are this other completely race of people that are not human.
Okay.
And to and none of the three regions really get along with each other, but each region has stuff that the other one needs,
Mm-hmm.
for like industry. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we need your dye to be able to make our cloth so that they can make their shirts and whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And so the one human region makes an alliance with the non-human people by having one of their royals marry one of their royals.
Yeah.
But it's like she's like the niece and he's like the second son, so he wasn't ever going to be king anyway. So they're not like really losing anything
Yeah.
by marrying those two together. It's just, but they his race used to eat humans. And so they don't eat humans
Um.
anymore, but they're only like 100 years out from where they used to eat
Yeah. I
humans.
feel like I'd still be a little salty about this. You're marrying me to this people eater.
So he's a really nice creature, and she's really nice. And they realize that they have to do their duty for their kingdoms and stuff, so there can be this alliance. But like his race think that humans are like ugly. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not just a little ugly. Like in particular, one of the big things that differences. I mean, for the most part, the bodies are kind of humanoid, except for one or two big differences. Like the creature people have eyes with no pupils or irises.
Okay.
Imagine their eyes are just completely white, like having white marbles in
Yeah.
their eye sockets. Okay, so they look at the humans and think the humans look like horses. And the fact that they can see their eyes wiggling around in their head because their eyes are white, so you can't really see their eyes move
Yeah.
or tell what kind of mood they're in by looking in their eyes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you look at the humans and their eyes are all wiggling and stuff, and they're like
Ooh, that makes it sound
they want
gross
to throw
now.
yeah, exactly they want to throw up every time they look at humans and their eyes are wiggling. It's like gross to them, like maggots or something.
Oh, stop. Ew.
So they're marrying each other, and she doesn't think he's all that attractive either because they have these fingernails that are like, and their fingernails and their teeth are like razors. So he has to be careful when he touches her because he might cut her.
This sounds like a nightmare.
And so but it's a good book because what happens is right after they get married, somebody in the other human group, remember, none of the groups really get along with each other, but the
Yeah.
creature group and the one human group are trying to get along because they have an alliance, because they want to use their trade. They want to trade goods between each other. The other group that's left out over here, the other group of humans, has decided that they're going to start some kind of war. And so
Ooh.
they start attacking people on the road and stuff like this. So they have to kind of get together to figure out how to stop this other group over here. So it's more about that, and there's
The romance.
a little bit of, are these two ever going to like each other kind of
Mm-hmm.
situation. So it's a good book. I actually read that like a month or so ago, and the other part of the reason I recommend it is because the second book after it is called Eidolon, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like no romance because they're already married at this point. So it's like no
Mm-hmm.
romance. It's all about some creatures who are coming to attack the kingdom, and how are they going to fight these creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like that kind of fantasy book, but you want to read the first book to understand what's going on in the second book,
Yeah.
you see. And the first book, like I said, is not so much romance that I think a non-romance lover would really be turned off.
Okay.
But okay, and I spent more time than I meant to
Mm.
explain that. So we're gonna zip through some of this other stuff because I also see, despite the fact that my light is on, we're
It's
losing
getting dark.
yeah, we're losing the light here. And turning the light on my face is not making it better. Okay, that's not too bad, I think, right there. Okay. So So the other things I read this week, I read The Readers of Broken Wheel Recommend, which is by Katrina Bivald. And
That's
this
such
is
an
one
odd
of
title.
this is one of those gentle books, but it's gotten lots of good reviews, and that's why it's been in my um I'm trying to read the books that I already have on my list,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like we talked about with the knitting and crochet patterns and stuff, where I have a habit of collecting patterns but not doing them. I have a
Yeah.
habit of like because I don't buy books, I only get books from the library.
But you put
So
them in your Goodreads, though.
yeah, exactly. I put them in my Goodreads. That's exactly it. I don't buy books, but when I hear about a book that's interesting, I put it in my Goodreads. So then my list of books that I'm interested in is like 300 books.
Mm.
And even though I've not bought books, I can't imagine the people who actually buy books, because people buy that many books and have them all over their house and don't read them. If you watch people on YouTube who are part of what they call BookTube, and
Mm-hmm.
they do these things called unhaul videos because they've bought all these books and then they decide they don't want to read them, so then they end up giving these books away,
Oh my
or
lord.
or whatever. I'm like, how could you buy all these books? I feel guilty having, right now, I have about 20 books, 20 ebooks that were free
Mm-hmm.
on my iPad that I have not read, and they've been there for over 5 years. And I feel guilty that they're sitting there.
And
And
those
those
are
are free,
free.
free and they're digital, so they're taking up no space. And I feel guilty about that. If I had stacks of actual books in my house, it would kill me. The 300 and some books, I have 100 and I think 110 books, because my wish list at the library, our library has different places that you can borrow books using your library card, and it's all free. So some are from the main library, some are from this service called Freeding, some is from this service called Hoopla. There's like 3 or 4 different places that you can get books from. And so I have a separate list at the library of stuff that is specifically at the library.
Ooh, speaking of which, guess who found her library card the other day?
Hey, good for you. Good for you. So I mean, the fact that I have 100 some books on my wish list at the library, not on reserve for them to send me, just books that I'm eventually going to check out. Plus over 300 books on my to be read list at on Goodreads. That kind of stuff causes me guilt.
Mm.
And they're not even real books that are in my house or that I've paid money for or anything. So I'm trying to, instead of adding more books to the list, because I'm already at the point where I'm never going to read all these books.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, I generally average about 100 books a year. So if I do not add any more books to the list that I have, I could probably finish reading all the books I have in 6 years. So that's not where most
Six
people say
years.
most people say they have more books than they can ever read in a lifetime, and I'm like, no. Mm-mm. But the problem is that I keep adding more books. Like I just saw that one of the authors that who writes these shifter romances that I like, which are like though
Mhm.
to me those are popcorn books. I can read one of those in an afternoon. And she just has a new book that just came out that I haven't read yet on
Mhm.
Kindle Unlimited. If I get Kindle Unlimited, then I just zip through all those Kindle Unlimited books and I never read anything from the library or my other lists. And
Yeah.
that makes me feel guilty too, reading these quick popcorn books and not getting the books that are supposed to be deeper than that. So that's why I picked up this book that had been on my list for a while, The Readers of Broken Wheel Recommend. It got good reviews. It's supposed to be kind of deep or whatever. Uh,
No?
Goodreads gives you 5 stars to rate a book. I rated it 2 stars. It's
Why?
the because the tone of it, and it's not that it was poorly written, although other reviewers did say that the characters in the book were one dimensional. And I can kind of agree with that, but it didn't necessarily bother me while I was reading the book.
Hmm.
Um, but it was just the morose tone. So the book was written well enough. It's just the morose tone that bothered me. It's about this, it's not spoilery to say. It's about this girl. Well, she's an adult woman because she's over 21. Um, who worked in a bookstore in Sweden. She lives in Sweden. She's Swedish. She worked
Hmm.
in a bookstore and she had started this correspondence with this elderly woman in Iowa.
Okay.
And where they talk a lot about books and stuff. This is a girl who kind of lives through her books. She doesn't really have a lot of friends. She doesn't have a boyfriend. She didn't, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
She's kind of shy and kind of lives in her books. And so she had this pen pal relationship with this woman. And then the woman says, you should really come visit. So the girl saves up her money, goes to visit. And when she gets there, she finds out that the woman died like a few days before she got there.
Oh no.
So she never really gets to meet the woman. Kind of got to know her through her letters, of course, but she never really gets to meet the woman. But the woman knew what she was. The woman didn't tell the girl how sick she was,
Hmm.
and so the woman knew she was going to die. So she told everybody, when she comes, let her go ahead and stay in my house, and don't let her pay for it anymore. Because
Hmm.
this is supposed to be her vacation for 2 months. She saved up to stay for 2 months.
Yeah.
And so it's about this woman coming to this town and how the town kind of turns around because of her personality or whatever. But the thing is that the girl's personality doesn't seem to be anything particularly special.
Oh.
The town is kind of depressing because it's one of those towns, because the book was written like in 2009, I think. So it's one
Hmm.
of those towns where the Great Recession had hit, and so all these companies had closed down. Everybody lost their jobs.
Ooh,
A
that
lot of
already sounds depressing.
people had moved out of town and stuff like that. And nothing about that turns around by the end of the book. So it's still depressing. Yes, I was trying to check my timer. So it's still depressing. So I guess I'm kind of glad I read it because I read something other than a romance. But it seems like my experience always is whenever I try to read something other than a romance, I don't particularly like it.
Yeah, well, that just sounds like maybe not the best option of beside a romance. because
Hmm.
that just it, like even you describing it just sounds really depressing. And I'm not even like a huge romance buff. I like other books and stuff, but that just sounds depressing.
So then the other book that I read, I'm just going to touch on these other two. I'm in the middle of Daddy Longlegs. Well, not really in the middle. I'm at the start.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. Um,
No, I
I
knew it
don't.
was a movie. I just haven't seen it.
Okay, I couldn't remember if the movie was actually called Daddy Longlegs or called something else,
Hmm.
but it's got Audrey Hepburn
Yeah,
and Fred Astaire in it.
yeah, it was called
And
Daddy Long Legs.
I've seen the movie, and I decided to read the book, but I'm in no rush to read that because it's a Project Gutenberg book. So even though I kind of checked it out through the library, it's one of those that never really expires. It's always available. So because it's free, no copyright, you
Yeah.
know type thing. So, but it's in case you didn't know, the original book was written in 1912. It's the girl. Do you know this story?
I don't.
Okay. Basically, it's this girl who grew up in an orphanage. She's been there since she was 7 or as long as she can remember or whatever. Well, now she's 17 and they already let her stay a year longer than they let most of the orphans stay. So they
Hmm.
didn't know what to do with her. Well, there are these trustees who like give money to the orphanage to keep the orphanage afloat. And so
Hmm.
one of the trustees has decided, after looking at her report cards and stuff, that he's going to take his money and send her to college.
Oh.
Now, this is 1912, so you don't send a whole lot of girls to college.
Yeah.
He's going to send her to college. But he wants to remain anonymous, and he just asks that she write a letter to him once a month.
Hmm.
And that's the same premise of the movie too, except the movie was in like 1950 something or 1960 something. So I'm interested to see what the differences are going to be
Hmm.
because like in the 1950s, more women went to college than went to college in 1912.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what the differences are going to be in the story, in the original story, from what the movie was like. And in the movie, the the girl grows up after 4 years of college and ends up marrying the benefactor guy, which
How how old is this benefactor
in,
guy?
exactly in 2019 it would be like, ooh, gross, isn't he an old man? But it was seen as romantic back then.
All right.
So I'm wondering how the book will have it in 1912. But so far I'm finding the only reason I mention that book is because it is more readable than I expected. I always have this thing in the back of my head that a book written like in the 1800s or 19 or even like 1920, I'm expecting the book to be, I mean, it's in English, but it's going to be different to read. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how like
Yeah.
sometimes you try, like I tried to read Persuasion by Jane Austen, and I could not understand half of what I was reading, and I gave up.
Hmm.
Okay, I don't understand the people who read Jane Austen and enjoy it. I can watch a movie kind of based on the premise of
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice, but I can't read Pride and Prejudice. I don't get it. Maybe if I heard it on audio book because that language is easier to understood to me if it's spoken. But trying to read it, I didn't get it. So that I always think that if I read something written prior to 1940, is going to be in like a stilted form
Yeah.
of English that I'm going to have trouble understanding.
You're gonna have to
But
like
this,
decipher it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to have to decipher it. But this book is like very readable.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm hoping that I will enjoy it because it's very readable. But one of my other books came in. I switched from that book to a book by Beverly Jenkins called A Second Helping. Now I had read the first book. This is another women's fiction. I read this right after Broken Wheel, that Broken Wheel book, and there are some similarities to the two books, but I enjoyed the Beverly Jenkins book more. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Um, But this is part of a series, and I've read the first book of the series 2 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm not sure why I didn't jump directly to the second book of the series. I think maybe I had another book that I had reserved that was in, and I was trying to read that or something. That's usually why, because normally I read series like straight through.
Yeah.
As soon as I can get the next book, I'm on it. So there must have been some sort of delay where I couldn't get the book, or I had another book I was already reading or something. But this is about, the first book was called Bring on the Blessings.
Okay.
And it's about this town called Henry Adams in Kansas. It is, she writes, she normally, Beverly Jenkins normally writes historical romance. I grabbed this series because I did not want to read the historical romance, because she is a black author, so she writes about black characters way back in the 1700s. Translation slavery, translation baby, we
Yeah.
ain't reading that. Okay. So even though they're romances, I'm like, Danny ain't reading that. I don't. I purposely, even though I read historical, I either read, um, what do they call it? Not Renaissance. They call it something else.
Victorian?
No, it starts with an R, but I can't remember it. But it's basically books set in England in the 1800s. So it's all about debutantes and coming out and stuff like that. So you don't ever
Yeah.
have to hear them talk about slavery. Even though it's
Yeah.
during the time when there was slavery in the United States, since they're in England, they don't ever talk about it.
Hmm.
So I read those sometimes, not a lot of them, but I read them occasionally. But if I read books set in the United States, I make sure they are set after 1870. So we have avoided the Civil War and the slavery and
Hmm.
everything else. I don't want to read it. So I purposely don't read Beverly Jenkins, even though Beverly Jenkins is highly regarded as a black, historical romance author. And I don't read enough black authors. I already know that. I read way too many white authors. I read
Hmm.
very few authors of color. And so I'm trying to change that. But a lot of times the subject matter is not something I want to read. So when I
Yeah.
saw that she was had a modern book, a contemporary book, I thought, well, let me give this a try. Well, um, but she still has all of that is to say that she still has a lot of history, because she writes a lot of historical fiction. So she still has a lot of history grounded in her books. And so the
Hmm.
book is about um, a town, an African American town that was started by freed slaves back in the 1800s and had been around for hundreds of years. But in the story, the town is dying. Like
Okay.
they run out of money. There's no industry in the area. A bunch of people have moved away. There's very few
Okay.
kids living in town. It's all old people or whatever. In the meantime, there's this black woman named Bernadine, who's married to this. Well, I won't give it all away because somebody might want to go back and read this, because it's light enough. It's like not a whole lot happens, but you don't want to give away the little bit that does happen.
Yeah.
Still an enjoyable book. But basically, this is in the description, so this is not really giving anything away. This rich woman has all this money and wants to find something to do with it, because she's a Christian woman. So she's like, she feels like she wants to do good for people.
Hmm.
This town in Kansas, this black town that's about to die if they don't get some money, everybody's gonna have to just move away and close up shop.
Hmm.
They decide to sell their town on eBay.
What?
And so she bought the town off of eBay and has decided,
Please.
and so she's decided she's gonna revitalize the town. So
Hmm.
she comes in and she like builds a new school and she's getting the roads paved. She brought them internet because they didn't even have internet. They had to go
Oh
out
my
of town.
lord.
They had to go out of town to be able to use their cell phones and stuff. It was, I mean, the whole thing. So, and so the series is basically about all the things that happen in the town.
Hmm.
how all the people help each other because everybody knows everybody. There's only like 500 people in the town, so everybody
Yeah.
knows everybody, and they help each other out and all this other kind of stuff. And there's some shenanigans in the first book that go on because not everybody's happy that she bought the town and whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So a second helping is the second book
Yeah.
where that with they've only been in the town for like maybe 6 months at this point, and so they're still. So I don't know why I waited 2 years to read it, but it has the similarities with the Broken Wheel book because they were both towns that were dying,
Yeah.
but this town in the Beverly Jenkins book is on the come up because she comes in, and a lot of people would say, "Oh, this is all magical stuff. She just comes in with her bottomless checkbook and just makes everything better." And I'm like, you know what? I don't mind reading that because
Yeah.
there's no bottomless checkbook in my life, so I wouldn't mind reading. I don't mind reading a story where even if there are bad guys in the story, they get their comeuppance, and if something happens, Bernadine can go through her Rolodex and she says, "Well, I know a lawyer," or "I got a guy," and she can
Yeah.
call the guy and write a check, and the things get fixed.
Yeah. As opposed to everyone's miserable. Now you have a friend, but you're still miserable.
Exactly. Exactly. Just like in the Broken Wheel book, there was no industry coming to save that town. There was nothing coming to make things better. It's just
Mm.
like, oh well, this new person has come, and she kind of has showed us that I guess we'll get through. You know, if we hide our heads in a book, I guess we'll ignore the fact that the town is dying, and it'll feel a little bit better.
It's so depressing.
It really is. And it's marketed as a feel good book. Somebody wrote in one of the reviews that this is the kind of town where you want to go visit again and again. And I'm like, you are reading it. You're confused. I think you meant that review for another book. I think you meant that review for another book because I do not want to visit Broken Wheel. Whereas I would love to go visit Henry Adams. Everybody knows everybody. They've got one diner in town where everybody goes to eat breakfast. The school has 6 kids in it
Six
because
kids?
yeah.
Oh man.
So it's yeah. Yeah, and it's nice reading about black characters
Yeah.
talking the way black characters talk,
Yeah.
people making a thing about it
Hmm.
without and they don't totally like ignore that some of the characters in the book have had to struggle because there are people who have had alcoholism and this and that and the
Yeah.
other in the book, but it's not presented in a way where it's like, oh, all black people do is struggle.
Yeah. Not
Even
making a big deal about it. Like, some people are like this, and now let's get to the story.
exactly, exactly. So that's all the books that I've been reading. I just checked out something borrowed, something blue, or is it something old, something new?
What is that? What's the premise?
That Oh no, that's the third book
Oh, the third
in
book in the
the
thing.
Beverly Jenkins series. Yeah, that's the third book because I just thought something old, something new. That's what it is. So, and those again are what somebody would call women's fiction. They're not really romances, but there are couples in there that are going to get together,
Hmm.
but there's no sex. There's no
Hmm.
sex anywhere in the book, and there's no, you just kind of know that okay, this was dating that one and that was dating this one, but it's not a focus a whole lot on how they
Yeah,
got
there's no like
together.
tension about, oh, are they going to get together? Are they not? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, have you read anything lately?
No, I have not.
Are you planning to read anything lately?
Maybe if I can find some audiobooks.
Well,
Like
I
I
can
said, I had
I
that
can
big
tell
kerfuffle
you
about Audible.
okay, I can tell you one podcast now that has audiobooks, and then I have some other ones on my mind, but I'll have to send you a playlist for that
Okay.
because I can't remember the names of those. But if you do not object to romance,
Romance.
you could try Read Me Romance. It's a relatively new podcast, and what it is there are they do one audiobook a week. And these are new audiobooks that have not been released anywhere else before.
Okay.
Where and so they do a segment each day. So you get a little bit Monday, a little bit Tuesday, and by Friday it's the end of the story.
Okay.
Okay. And then the way they're doing it is that they release the audiobook, you get the five segments of it, and then they release a print version like maybe a few weeks later with
Oh, that's cool.
a little bit of extra content to it that
Oh.
fleshes out the story a little bit more. But you still get pretty much the full story if you listen to the
Hmm.
audiobook. So and they've been going for a few months now. So
Ooh,
there
so I've
are
got some
several
backlogs to listen to.
so there's some backlog. And not every story in there is because I skip a lot of the stories because as a romance reader, there are certain what they call tropes that I like, and there are other tropes that I do not like. Like,
Hmm.
for instance, I do not like what they call second chance romance, where, we dated in high school and then we had a fight, and then I moved away, and now I'm coming back to town 10 years later, but you're still here. So we're getting back together again. That's not that's not one of my favorites.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because I haven't seen because I don't like I said, I don't watch very many like rom com style like TV shows or any of that either. Like watching Crazy Ex Girlfriend is the closest that I've gotten in a long time, and oh man, I am tore up about it. But I was watching
We're up about it.
man, because she's in love with the one guy, but then there's the other guy who's in love with her, and then they dated for a little while and everything. They were great, but then she screwed it up and was dumb and was like, no, but I have to be with Josh. And then the other guy starts dating another girl, but the other girl realizes that he's still in love with her, and so she's
Okay,
like,
see, to me, that's not romance. That is soap opera, and I have no patience for soap opera. I used to watch soap operas when I was a teenager, but I outgrew them somewhere in my 20s, and I don't like anything that smacks of soap opera.
I get too like I get too involved in
Yeah,
the show. I
yeah.
get way too involved, and I'm really upset because one of my favorite characters. I want to give any spoilers or anything. Actually, I'm gonna say spoiler alert if you're watching this. Crazy Ex Girlfriend. Just in case I accidentally do because I might. But one of the main guys who was in love with the main girl. He is like he's moving away, going to college and getting his life together and everything. And I'm like, but he was my favorite and he's so much better than the one that you keep trying to get with. Why? It's so irritating. So now he's like not even an option anymore. And so she's trying to hash out this baloney with this other guy. And I'm like, no, I don't want you as the main character anymore. We're going to start over. Let's get with your neighbor. We're done with this. Like that's why I stopped watching Orange is the New Black because I hated the main character. I started watching it and I'm like, okay, I can dig this. And then the more the show goes on, I'm like, yeah, you're just a punk. Can we stop watching you? Like I just stop liking the main
That
character and
was
it's very frustrating.
I can appreciate that. That was part of one of the things that happened when I was reading the Readers of Broken Wheel recommend.
Mm-hmm.
There was one character, even though most of the characters really weren't fleshed out, there was one character, an older woman character, who toward the end of the book, they started putting her in a situation. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but they
Mm-hmm.
started putting her in a situation that made me want to read more about her
Yeah.
situation. And for once that situation started, I was like skimming past the passages of the main character to get back and see if we're going to get back to more of this one side character situation because I cared more about that than I
Mm-hmm.
do, and that's another thing because just like another thing like with the Beverly Jenkins book, there's a lot of different it's an ensemble type cast because they're following different people in the town. But
Mm-hmm.
no matter which person they go to start following in the town, I'm interested in what's going on with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like one person who's considered the main character that you wish they get back to or that you wish they get away from so you could get to somebody
Yeah.
else. But
A
yeah,
lot of
check out Read Me Romance.
I will. I just
And I
had
was
a
mm-hmm,
brilliant idea. What if, because you like podcasts and I like podcasts, but
mm-hmm,
we like different podcasts.
we do.
What if every week, and by every week I mean as long as we decide this is an okay idea, you pick a favorite episode from one of your podcasts, and I pick a favorite episode from one of my podcasts, and we share them with each other, which means you're going to be listening to a murder podcast, but we listen to an episode of each of our and like discuss the episode and
You
like what we think and
see
how the
my
thing.
eyebrows raised.
I did, and did you see me not care and continue?
All right.
It feels like such a good idea.
Okay, we can try it. I will force myself to listen to a murder podcast.
I'm so excited. I know exactly which one I'm going to make you listen to too. Do you know what podcast you're going to make me listen to?
Actually, my first thought was the dollop, probably.
I've been meaning to listen to the dollop, so was probably a good idea because I keep thinking that I'm going to. Because one of the hosts on the dollop was oh, this is so funny. So I was going to choose an episode from My Favorite Murder. Karen from My Favorite Murder, one of the hosts from the dollop, was her first comedy boyfriend.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So it's like a mini collaboration thingy almost, sort of. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. So yeah, we can pick a podcast during the week that we can listen to, so that
Yeah,
we'd be ready to talk about it next week.
yeah.
Do that.
It
Okay,
feels like a plan.
so the only other thing that we really had to talk about was you said something about YouTube TV.
Yeah, I did. I just kind of mentioned it because I happened to see it. I had something else written down too, though. But
Well, what
I
else
just
you got written
mentioned.
down? Oh, we went through my whole list, and I didn't let you go through your list. I'm sorry. Go.
Oh, you're good. I didn't have very much. So before we move away from the subject of podcasts, how do you feel about listening to live episodes of podcasts? I was just thinking about this earlier in the week, and I don't like listening to live anything because I feel like the audience ruins it, and it makes me so irritated.
The episode I was gonna have you listen to was a live one, so I guess
I
I'll
mean,
switch to this
I'll
one.
listen to it if you, because I'm making you listen to a murder podcast, a whole situation that you don't even like anyway. But like, do you feel that way about podcasts? Because like, even
So
when I listen,
I don't think the audience ruins it for me. I think the issue is that most of the time I listen to podcasts. Well, not most of the time, but I'd say half the time I listen to podcasts at bedtime.
mm-hmm,
So I don't want a podcast that is too loud.
yeah,
I'm going to be drifting off to sleep. And so if it's a live episode of a podcast, there's going to be the applause and the laughing.
mm-hmm.
And that is too loud for me if I'm trying to go to bed. So I have to skip over those episodes to listen to when I'm awake, but then I end up not usually going back to them.
See, I feel like for me, live episodes of podcasts and live episodes for or live versions of like songs and stuff, if it's just the audio, not the video, the live episode, like the audience, they're first of all, they tend to do more visual gags just because the audience is there and can see them. And I'm like, okay, I can't see what you're doing. And so they have to try to explain it. And then there's a lot of times where they'll say something and then the audience will like roar with laughter and then they'll kind of continue talking. And if you were there with the speakers, you'd be able to hear it. But because I'm at home, I can't hear what you then said after that. And
Because
even if the audience, yeah, and even if the audience can't hear what they're saying, they're like they're there seeing them in person. It makes up for the fact that they couldn't hear what they just said. But
yeah,
I'm at home, I can't see you in person, and I just missed what you said, and I'm not like they're seeing you to make up for it. Like
yeah,
it just drives me crazy. Like I've gone back and listened to a few of them just because like especially on My Favorite Murder, they pick certain murders that they talk about in certain episodes. And there was one, I wanted to listen to them talk about Ted Bundy, but they ended up doing Ted Bundy on a live episode, on a live podcast. And so I didn't I still have yet to go back and listen to that one. And I'm going to eventually because I want to hear how they talk about it, how they present it. But it's just frustrating because I hate the audience.
I guess I can see that.
But I'll definitely listen because I just listened to a live episode like the other day and it wasn't that bad. Like it's the audience did a good job of not like covering a bunch of stuff up. But I'll listen if you give me a live episode or something. I'll definitely listen to it. The other thing that I had, YouTube TV was kind of a passing thought because I didn't like it would probably just circle back to me talking about how I don't want to have to pay for more subscription stuff. And I want to watch TV, but I don't want to pay for subscription things.
Mm-hmm.
But the only other thing that I had was dieting because I was talking about my not soda that I held up earlier because I'm trying to stay under my calories. And I have for a while there, we talked before.
We got about 10 minutes, so this is going to be our last topic.
Okay. We talked before, several videos before about how I am counting calories. And I've since so I had an app that I was using to help me count my calories and calculate the exercise and all that stuff. And then I just had a real bummer of a week. And so I just kind of stopped and haven't picked it back up in earnest in 3 weeks or so. But before I did, when I was keeping track of my calories, I had lost 10 pounds since January.
Well,
so this was a month ago. So I don't know if I've maintained. I don't know if I've gained. I don't know if I've lost. But I'm still eating better than I would have. But I switched over at lunch.
What is better for you? Because I'm not going to try to treat you like you're still 10 years old. But when you lived at home, you ate no vegetables. You disliked most meats. There were very few things that you liked to eat. So it was very hard to put together a healthy diet for you.
Well, now I am a grown up. So I'm able to go out and find healthier options of things that I know that I'll eat because I know what I'll eat. So I'm able to find healthier options. So I had a salad at Bojangles a while back. Bojangles has good salads. I did not realize this.
Wait a minute. When did you start eating lettuce?
A while back. I don't normally choose salads just because I got the salad. This is what happened when I got the salad. I got the salad and I was like, yay, me, I got a salad. I took a picture of the salad and sent it to my friend Miranda and I was like, look at me, yay, me, I'm eating a salad. She's like, yay, you're eating a salad. I ate the salad. I'm like, this isn't bad. And then I got about halfway through the salad and I'm like, I want this not to be salad. Salad just makes me irritated. I ate it. It wasn't bad. It tasted good. It just made me irritated because I want it to taste like something. I want it to be food. It feels like there's no substance there. But I did eat a salad and have eaten, I think, a couple salads since then. Not very many though. But Bojangles has good salads. If anyone out there is looking for a fast food salad, Bojangles has pretty good salads. That's not where I work though, so I'm not gonna tell you where I work because we don't have good salads. But I mean, we have okay salads.
I had taco salad 3 times this week. I'm not much of a salad person either, but I occasionally get in the mood for a taco salad because I like to have a salad with lettuce, meat, salsa, and sour cream.
See, that's where you got me. I don't do salsa because I don't like tomatoes. I don't do sour cream because I have recently, in the past 5 years, have gotten this weird aversion to creamy, saucy, soupy textures. If I have that kind of mouthfeel, it weirds me out and makes me want to gag, and I don't know why. Sweet sauces are one thing, but any kind of savory sauce, it's really it's very hit or miss, usually miss for me. And I don't know why. But I had, the other day I had spaghetti squash for the first time, which was so good. And we're going to go out and buy some more of that because it was somebody at work made it for us. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. And so I'm going to go out and get some of that. But in general,
I'm not a big fan of spaghetti squash. I have
really.
I'm not a big fan of it. But I'm glad
I liked it so much.
Glad that you enjoy it.
I liked it so much. Everyone was saying, because it was my first time trying it, and everyone's like, oh yeah, last time he cooked it, it was a little bit better. This time it's kind of crunchy. And I'm like, I'm here for that crunchy noodle though. I am here for the crunchy noodle. I'm not
It's
opposed to it. It tastes really good.
better to me if there's a meat sauce because I've made it once with just pasta sauce, and
Hmm.
then I made it the second time with like spaghetti sauce that had hamburger in it,
Yeah.
and it was much better to me. If I'm gonna eat it, it was much better to me that way.
See,
But
I
if
ate it just
I'm not going to all of that trouble, honestly, when I could just do some angel hair pasta.
See, I ate it plain because I don't like tomato sauce. And so normally if I eat spaghetti, for anyone out there who's listening, I'm super picky. If I eat spaghetti with no tomato sauce and I'll eat it with just butter, salt, and parmesan. That is how I eat my spaghetti. And
Your sister likes it with pesto, butter and
I'll
pesto.
I'll do pesto sometimes, but like I said, I'm picky about saucy textures. So sometimes I just am not, sometimes I just can't eat it. It weirds me out. Um, but I had the spaghetti squash and it just had some garlic seasoning and stuff on it, and I put a little bit extra salt and pepper on it, and I just ate it just like that, and it was so good. So I really want to go out and buy some more spaghetti squash and make it myself. And I'm thinking I really want to do meal prep. Like it's something that
Your father wants to do meal prep.
I've been watching. Maybe we can share meal prep notes because I've been watching so many YouTube videos on it.
You can share meal prep notes with him because I ain't bothering with that mess. I thought about it off and on, but I'm not fooling with that.
Well, it seems like the kind of thing that I would do, but I need help and I need commitment. I'm the kind of person that if I decide to do something big, I need all of the extraneous factors to be in exactly the right place. If something's wrong with the kitchen, if we don't have the exact right thing, if we don't have this, if we don't have that, then I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, I need to have the exact Tupperware that I want. I need to have the exact foods that I want. I need to have the exact spices that I want. I need to have this day off, and I can't be working the day after, and so I can have all day to be able to, like, I need all of these things to be lined up correctly. Otherwise, I am not going to do it, and that's my
Oh,
problem because
it sounds like you take after your mother. It has taken me so many years, and I'm still trying to get over that thing of like if the kitchen needs to be cleaned, if I don't have time to wash the dishes and wipe down the counter and wipe down the stove and clean out the microwave and sweep and mop the floor and all that stuff, then I'm like, you know what, I don't have time for all of this, so I'm just not going to clean the kitchen at all, and then the
mm-hmm,
kitchen doesn't get cleaned. And it has taken me many years, and I still falter and have to remind myself that it's better if you got 10 minutes, sweep the floor. You got
mm-hmm,
10 minutes later in the afternoon, wipe the counters. You got 15 minutes, load the dishwasher. You know, you don't have to do it all in one
yeah,
chunk together. But I still have to remind myself from time to time.
yeah,
But
I'm better with it in certain things, but some things like cleaning and doing like preparation of food and stuff like that, I still just feel like I need everything to be right. But I do eventually want to do meal prep. I'm super excited. And now that I've tried spaghetti squash, I want to do just spaghetti squash for every meal prep. It was so good. But
I want meal prep to have been done. Okay.
please,
I want to hire somebody and I come home and all those nice neat packages are in the
yes.
refrigerator so I can just grab one and that is my lunch.
Where is this service and how can I purchase it?
Exactly.
Please.
Exactly.
But
That's what I want. No, what I'm trying, and I only tried it. This is only my second day, and I hesitate to talk about it because that's one of my failings. When I decide that I need to do something healthy, I do so much planning and so much talking about it that I get sick of it and I don't actually do it. I talk about it more
oh
than I do it. And I do that with a lot of stuff. I do that with my knitting. I do that with my housework. I do that with a lot of stuff where I talk and plan and make a schedule and this and that and the other. And then the first time it comes down to actually doing it, then I don't do it. And the last time I tried, which was almost a year ago, that I was on a bit of a health kick. I was like exercising and I had my little app to put down what I ate and I weighed myself at certain times and the app that told how many minutes I exercised and I was keeping up and I was part of a group online where I was typing and doing all of that stuff, and then one day I just decided I don't want to do any of this anymore.
mhm.
It's too much. I hate all of this. I'm not gonna do any of this anymore. And so now I'm trying to go a different route and not make it so complicated,
Yeah.
not make it so I'm not tracking what I'm eating. I'm not tracking, which I never understood how tracking helps people anyway, because I and I know it sounds stupid, but if I start writing down what I'm eating that day, and then I get halfway through the day and I decide I want to eat a giant 5 pound bag of M&Ms and make myself sick and throw up later, then I just stop tracking for that day and say I'm going to go ahead and start over tomorrow.
See,
Say today. So tracking doesn't do any good because I just lie to myself and don't write down the candy that I ate.
I thought that I was going to do the same thing. I thought that I was going to be the same way, but I was like, well, let me get healthy in this 2019, and because we're going on a cruise, and I want a better swimsuit. Um, but so I started tracking my food, and I've been watching a lot of like health YouTubers, and one of my favorite YouTubers, she's not even a health YouTuber, she's a craft YouTuber, but I've been watching her second channel. But she one of the things that she very strongly advocates is you don't have to have a specific workout routine, you don't have to have all this stuff, just do something. If you're tired of doing this other thing, just find something that you can do. Even like as long as you do something for the day, it's good. And whenever she was talking about tracking food, she's like, just even if you mess up, just track your food. That way you can figure out where you are, and once you get back on the horse, then you get back on the horse and you can keep going, but just keep tracking your food. And so I, for a good like 2 or 3 months, I had like I said, I had a poopy week and was like, nah, I don't feel like tracking anything for the next like 3 weeks, and so I stopped. But I'm getting back on. I tracked yesterday, I didn't track today, but I tracked yesterday, and I remember everything I ate today. I could put it in if I wanted to, I'm just lazy. But for a good 3 months, I was like, even if I messed up, even if I ate 3,000 calories over what I was supposed to be eating, I put it in, and then I'll see like, okay, I messed up on Wednesday, let's keep going on Thursday. And what I really like about the app that I was using is, instead of like, oh, these are the calories you have for this day, and if you mess up, then you've just messed up for that day, but it keeps track of not only the calories you're supposed to have for your day, but it keeps track of the calories you're supposed to have for the week. So if I'm supposed to have 1,800 calories a day, which is what my calorie count is set at, if I'm supposed to have 1,800 calories a day, then it adds all that together for X amount of calories for the week. And so if I eat way too much on Monday, but then undereat, or not undereat, but like eat super good on Tuesday, then I balance out those calories for the week. So I still end up losing weight, as opposed to if they didn't show me that, then I would just be like, oh, I messed up on Monday, I've ruined everything. And I could like I just keep going. So that definitely helped me out a lot, because I like, especially like I said, if I mess up on Monday and Tuesday and then eat really well on Wednesday, and it gets to like towards the end of the week and I'm like, man, I didn't do very well, but you know what, I've got time to work out right now, let me work out and balance out that 300 calories that I ate on Monday, then it evens out and I still end up losing weight. And that's like I said, I lost 10 pounds. I haven't weighed myself again since then, because I've been eating like poopy. I like, not super poopy, but I've been better. Like for my daily eating, I've switched over. Like I've stopped eating so much like hamburgers and stuff like that. At lunch at work, I eat at a fast food place. I work at a fast food place. But for lunch at work, I've been getting grilled chicken almost every day. Like just a couple pieces of grilled chicken. I may have like a couple fries to go with it, and I've like switched over. I've stopped drinking. I don't drink actual sodas. I drink my not sodas, my carbonated drinks. Which this one is a really good one, by the way. I don't know if you can see that branding.
Uh-huh.
It's sparkling ice, but it's hashtag not sponsored. Sparkling ice. It's really good. It's one of the ones that has 0 calories. It's got one of those like sugar things that it makes, like my friend Lori, she can't drink them because it makes her sick. It doesn't bother my stomach, but it's 0 calories, but it actually tastes good, because I've had a couple of those sparkling waters that are 0 calories, but they taste like really bitter, and I don't
Yeah.
like it. These don't taste bitter. They taste pretty good to me, and so I've been getting those and keeping those in the house. So instead of going out and getting like a really sugary juice or getting like a Sprite or something, that I've been drinking those, and it's tided me over pretty well. And so I've been like slowly changing my normal eating habits to be a little bit better, but I stopped tracking because I didn't feel like it.
Yeah. Well, basically what I'm doing is I heard another podcast about intermittent fasting, and I'd heard of
Mhm.
intermittent fasting before, and there's different ways to do it. And I've tried in the past to do it where you have like 2 days a week, 2 or 3 days a week where you only eat 600 calories.
Mhm.
Okay. And then the other days of the week, you can eat whatever. And I was not even able to stick that out for the whole week. I didn't grow up as one of those people who, I mean, I knew I was, because I was a size 16 when I was like 18 years old. So I've always been a big girl. Okay, not as big as I am now because I'm like a 26 now, but I've always been a plus, what they call a plus size girl. I've never been a skinny girl because I was tall. I was already 5'8" when I was 10 years old. So, you know, I, and I'm 5'9" now. So I was practically at my full height before I hit puberty. So I've always been a big person. So I never was kind of like, I need to diet. Like some girls have been on a million diets.
Mhm.
But I have, once I hit my 30s or whatever, I did have my share of trying a diet here or there. But I've never been very good to stick with them because I'm not good at depriving myself.
Yeah.
I'm not good at, there's some people who can like deprive themselves for a month because they want to lose that 10 pounds or whatever. I barely make it 48 hours because if I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And not just the hungry thing, because I've gotten pretty good at listening to my body and knowing when I'm hungry and when I'm not hungry. And so I do listen to that. I'm not one of these people who eat because I'm bored, who eat because I'm depressed, who eat because I'm trying to suppress some feelings or something like that. I flat out eat because I like the taste of food.
Yep.
So, like for instance, there are people who eat because they have food issues because they're depressed or whatever. There will be a cake that is like dry and halfway in the trash can, and they'll go down there and rescue that cake and eat it. To me, if that cake is not moist, if it has frosting, which I do not like frosting, if it has frosting on it, I will not eat it. If it's dry, I will not eat it. There is a whole bag box of your father bought these cake pops. I think cake pops are disgusting
I love
because
cake pops.
they are 50% frosting and 50. You talk about mouthfeel. Cake pops are
Oh, they're so
they are
good.
no, they're mushy and gross. I don't know. So I'm picky about the food I'm going to eat. So I'm not just eat, you know what I'm saying? People who have
Yeah.
issues because of food, they'll shovel practically anything in their mouth. I just happen to like food
Yeah.
and like a lot of it. So I learned a long time ago to, like, one of my big problems was when we went out to eat, I would eat everything on the plate because it tasted so good.
Mhm.
And I didn't know when we would be going out to eat again to have good
Mhm.
food. And my cooking is not very good. So I wanted to get as much of this yummy stuff as I could. And so I ended up, and here in America, they give you giant servings.
Yep.
So I've learned to just like eat the best parts off of the plate and then either leave it or pack it up to bring it home,
Yeah.
to reheat in the microwave. So I've learned a lot of strategies and stuff. So pretty much what I have now is what's been stuck on my body, the weight that's been stuck on my body for forever. Although I did gain 15 pounds since last July. I just weighed myself
Mhm.
yesterday and I've gained 15 pounds since last July, which is what made me. And I knew something was up because I was starting to feel like I couldn't
Mhm.
move. But I've been carrying the same weight for many, 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 many years. And this 15 pounds is recent. So I decided to try intermittent fasting again because I did hear yet another story about how intermittent fasting works. It's not a magic bullet or anything. It's just simply that if you restrict yourself to a certain time, you're going to eat less calories. So
Mhm.
instead of the method of only 600 calories on Tuesday and Thursday and then eat whatever you want on the rest of the time, I'm sticking to I'm eating between I'm eating between an 8 hour window.
Yeah.
Okay. So like if the first time I ate that day is 1 o'clock. Like today, the first time I ate was 1 o'clock. So 9 o'clock is my cutoff to eat
Okay.
for today. So then I'm not going to be, which sounds weird to some people because it's like, who's eating after 9 o'clock anyway? And it's like, well, we work night shift in this house.
Yeah.
My son and my husband don't get home until 11:30 or sometimes 12. And I used to work where I got off at 12 and I still
Hmm.
haven't got, and I've always been a night person to begin with. And having this, and then having that schedule for a year where I didn't get off until midnight, which means I ate
Hmm.
my dinner after I got off. So, and then I would stay up and watch TV with my husband, to spend some time with him before we went to sleep. So I typically don't go to sleep till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So eating late at night is not that weird. But what I'm trying to do, and like I said, this is only my second day, I'm sticking to an 8 hour window, either between 12 and 8 or 1 and 9, depending on what's going on that day. Like today, I didn't eat till like 1 or 1:30, so I'm stopping around 9.
Hmm.
So, and if you restrict yourself, basically the idea is if you restrict yourself to 8 hours and
There's
just
only
eat
so many calories that you can eat during that
that
8 hours.
I mean, you could stuff 3,000 calories in your body in those 8 hours if you were really trying.
Hmm.
But if you're just doing like me and just eating when you think about it, then you're going to eat less calories.
Yeah.
And there's been several studies on that, and I feel like I might be able to stick to that better.
Hmm.
The only adaptation I'm making to that is that I am allowing myself liquids outside the 8 hours,
Yeah.
so like water, coffee, or tea.
Yeah,
Only
but you don't
because
drink super sugary coffee or tea anyway. When I drink any kind of drinks, that's why I switched to drinking these not sodas, because when I drink any kind of drinks, it is always like it'll be soda, so it's super sugary, or it'll be like tea, but it's like I super sweet tea, or it'll be coffee, but like so much sugar in my coffee. So I've like cut down on
well, no,
most liquids except for my not sodas.
I put a good bit of sugar in my coffee, but I only drink 1 cup of coffee a day.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of I put less sugar in my tea than I used to, but I do sugar my tea. I don't drink tea without sugar.
Yeah.
However, I do drink the like in this cup, this bottle that I've got right now is those packets that we get from the dollar store, the flavorings that
Yeah.
you put in the
My
water,
friend Jamie at work calls them her shakies.
which they're artificial flavoring, so they're not supposed to be good for you. And a lot of time, and I was trying to not drink those anymore, but I
Hmm.
found that I was not drinking any liquid at all because I flat out will not drink plain water. I will
Yeah, me
not.
too.
I've tried to force myself to do it, and it just is gross. I have never liked water, ever, 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 ever. The only time I will drink plain water is if it is loaded down with ice. I am standing outside and it is 99 degrees. I mean, I have to be like sweating buckets about to pass out, and it has to be ice water for me
Yeah.
to drink water without gagging on it. I do not like the taste of water. It is gross to me. So I have to have some sort of flavor.
Mhm.
But I don't know if you can tell, but this is like extremely watered down
That's what it looked like to me.
from
Yeah.
what the original packet is. So like I'll put the packet in. First of all, I put the packet in. The packet's supposed to go in 16 ounces. I put it in 20 ounces,
Hmm.
and then I'll drink it halfway down, and then I'll fill it back up to the 20 ounces, so it's watered down again. And then I'll drink it back halfway down, and then I might even water it down another time
Hmm.
before I. So like that one packet gets me through like 3 bottles
Yeah.
before I get another packet. So
See, I don't.
I just have to have a little bit of something. I can't drink plain water, and and putting the lemon in the water doesn't work either for
Oh,
me.
see, that's what I do. I know myself, and I know if I got some of those packets, it says put one packet in a bottle. If I know myself, I'm going to put 3 packets in that bottle
Oh
every
no,
single time.
see, I find like some of the flavors, like one of the flavors I like is pineapple, and
Mm-hmm.
that one is too sweet to me. I automatically have to water that one down. That one's way too sweet. I like it, but it's too sweet. I prefer it after I've watered it down. So I, but the reason I had to go back to those packets because I've been having swelling
Yeah.
on my feet for the past year, and I don't know where the swelling has come from. It just started last January. and I don't know why I'm having the swelling, but I'm making myself, if I have to make myself move more and drink more water, and it
Mhm.
kind of goes down for a while. But when I stop, like I spend a lot of time sitting in this office chair.
Yeah.
And so when I sit, because I'm working and I'm studying, because I'm a full time student. For those who don't know, I'm a full time student. Although this is my last semester, fingers crossed. I'm a full time student and I work from home. So 10 hours of my day at
Ooh,
least,
tap
I
out for just a
sit in
second.
this
My
chair.
phone is suddenly dying out of nowhere. Oh no.
So I guess that is the end of our chat.
I guess so. I'll have to call you back after this. Oh no.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, I'll talk to you later, Maya.
Yeah, see you later. Bye,
And
everybody.
all right. So, yeah, we said that we were stopping at an hour. It is an hour and 45 minutes. I'm sure anybody who is watching has already stopped watching at this point. So, thank you if you stuck it out with us all this time. Um, we'll be back next week. We'll do our Stitchy talk first around 4:45, and then we take a break, and then we do this rambling Saturday night chat after that. Like I said, thank you to everybody who decided to hang out with us. Thanks, Tracy, in the chat room, for I'm sure we kept you company while you were knitting something or crocheting something or cross stitching something. But thanks for hanging with us. So, see you guys next week. Bye, ya.